Hello and welcome. Python is in Excel. I am very excited about this. I've had learning Python on my to-do list. I realize actually for probably more than 20 years because, or not quite, but about 20 years because I liked the sound of it, liked the idea of learning it when I was in college and doing some computer science. Um, but I also had a sort of specific plan in early 2020. I had set aside a bunch of time to learn Python, and then COVID happened, and there was no school and no childcare, and my plans were cancelled. But in any case, there's always been a bit of a mental hurdle of, you got to set up an environment. I don't think that's really a good excuse. I don't think it would have taken me very long, but I never got around to it. Now it's in Excel, no excuse. I am learning Python. Specifically, I'm aiming to learn Python over the next month. I mean, what the heck does that mean? I don't know, but we'll see how much I can cover in that time. A little bit by way of background, I am a programmer. I always kind of shy away from calling myself a real programmer because I mostly work in Excel, and that's not for real programmers, or it didn't used to be. But yeah, I've programmed in VBA. I've written M code, SQL code, JavaScript, Google Apps Script, Mathematica, various other things. So compared to someone who sort of just uses Excel, I am more of a programmer. So there's some of this will probably come more easily to me than it does to someone whose only kind of relevant experience is using Excel. But on the other hand, it'll come a lot less easily to me than someone who's a real programmer. But I think most of the ideas of like how do you learn and all of that will still apply. So how have I learned other computer programming languages? How am I planning to learn Python? It's a sort of four-ish step process. One, learn by doing. Just like having specific concrete things that you want to be able to do and then figuring out how to do them rather than what are all the things that Python can do. Um, like I know that Python does all kinds of like machine learning, data classifying stuff, and that's cool and it's kind of interesting, but I don't do that stuff. I don't need it for my work. I won't use it other than out of academic interest. So I'm going to use this to tackle things that I look at anyway. And some specific resources I'm thinking of for that is one, the Excel BI Daily Excel and Power Query challenges. These are kind of intended to be done in Excel or with Power Query, but they're all effectively just kind of very bite-sized programming challenges. So for my very first few lines of writing Python today, I'm going to be attempting today's Excel BI challenge. But then other resources that I'm going to turn to, hopefully as I get a little more advanced, I'm going to look at some of the financial modeling World Cup esports cases, the sort of problem-solving ones. I think those will potentially work well for it. I'm going to look at Advent of Code because that has some kind of more advanced stuff that you wouldn't necessarily, well, hi Bo, I know you can do everything in Excel, even Advent of Code, which is kind of amazing, but that is not as natural to do in Excel. That are kind of good cases for where Python would be much stronger, and then maybe leet code, other things. I don't know. We'll see where the journey takes me. But anyway, step one, learn by doing. Step two, Google for syntax. This is how I program, especially in VBA. Like, is the when you export as fixed format to a PDF, is that Excel file type PDF or is it Excel type PDF? I can never remember. So I just Google for it every time. I gotta pause for a second. My kid is yelling at me. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Minor kid calamity. Anyway, you get the idea. Just if you know what you ought to be able to do, and that doesn't just mean like when I'm writing VBA, I know that there is an export as fixed format function, and I just need to kind of get the exact syntax. But same idea. Like here, this Excel BI thing is all about capitalization, uppercase, lowercase. Like I know in Excel that I can say equals lower of some. That's a terrible place to put equals lower of some text. Lower of some text, uh, and it'll give me the lowercase version of that. I don't know exactly what that looks like in Python, but I would bet my right arm that Python has a lowercase function. So I just need to Google for how do you use it. Step three, make mistakes. I will be making a great many mistakes. Actually, starting with today, because this is actually my very disappointingly, very frustratingly, I really wanted my kind of first ever lines of Python to be part of the video, and then I stuffed up the sound recording on the first take. So this is unfortunately a do-over, but I am going to try to replicate the steps that I went through with this. But the stuff that I do today and in the next week, as I learn the very, 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 very basics of Python, is going to look totally clownish and amateur, probably even to me in 2 weeks' time or something, and certainly to lots of other people who know how to write Python. But you know, you got to embrace that. That's part of the fun. And then finally, ask for help. I put this in there mostly because my first experience of writing Google Apps script, I got so bogged down on what turned out to be like tiny details, like, you know, single versus single versus double quotes for strings, or like the exact way that it defined dates or something like that. I know a lot of people are using ChatGPT for this, especially with Code Interpreter, and I will probably do a bit of that later on as well. But for now, I'm just Googling everything, and we'll see how it goes. So anyway, that's the introduction both to this video and to the series, because I'm planning on making a whole bunch of videos as I work through this. The rest of this video is just going to be me muddling my way through my first Python challenge, which is this. So the idea is you just got to classify the sentences. Let me just go over to the Excel page. So, you know, this one is all lowercase. This one is what he calls start case, what I would call proper case, which is the first letter of each word capitalized. This one is all caps. This one is sentence case, meaning just the first letter capitalized and everything else is lowercase. This one is all lowercase. This one is all proper case, uppercase. Mixed case just means it doesn't meet any of those other 4 rules. And then sentence case, we've talked about that one already. Okay. So I guess first thing is just a couple of orientation things in Python. So I've already watched a bunch of good videos of people who got Python a week before me, kind of exploring it. So I know a few things already, and I would recommend that you check out videos by Bill Jelen, by Owen Price, who has already done like 7 of them, and he's the one of the people I'm going to mention, I think, who was already a Python expert before, or at least very good at Python. I don't know if he would call himself an expert in that, but he's certainly a real programmer. You know, who knew Python beforehand. Minda Tracy did a great video. Leila Garani did a great video. Just all good stuff for like getting oriented. So a few things. First thing is to start this. I mentioned that this was accidentally my second take. So this is the kind of here's one I made earlier that I might refer back to if I get lost. But so to start writing Python, you just write equals py and tab. Py is a function, but it also just kind of creates this Python environment. And one thing that I do know, because I've come across it, the Microsoft team saying it, is you can't mix the py function with other functions, which I guess is why it opens up this separate environment here. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you can refer to sheet ranges. So you can do something like this. Now there's a function and quotes and everything, but if you just click whoops, sorry, I clicked on the picture there by mistake. That was not what I meant to do, but never mind. Why on earth is that still busy? Okay, there we go. So you can do that, and it'll select a range. And I did check this earlier. If I have a dynamic array, sequence 10, for example, then I can also point to that, and it will use the hash, use the dynamic array reference to pick it up. So second thing you'll notice is that it's just giving this output data frame, and when I click on it, it says here's a 10 by 1 data frame of the numbers 1 to 10, and it's only, so a couple of things. One is you can input lots of lines. It only outputs the very last line. So in this case here, this is the last line that you're outputting. And if I get rid of that, then it'll output the line above. And again, if I click on that data frame, here's what it looks like. Sorry, lots of lots of interruptions today. Anyway, so we have this data frame here, and if we click on it, click on that little thing there, it'll show us here is a 9 by 1 data frame, and these are all the values in it, which might be all you want, or you can click over here and say, I want you to output it as an Excel value, and then it'll drop it all out here. So that's sort of the basics of it. I guess the other thing worth mentioning is if I extend this range up here, then I might want to say header, is it headers or header? I think it's headers equals true. We'll get a syntax error if I get that wrong. Yes, no, wait, sorry, I thought I'd extended that. Maybe I didn't. Try again. Okay, so that's that. Then we can also give these names. So I can call this, for example, inputs equals that. And then I can refer to that name in other places. So over here, for example, I can say inputs. Sorry, I can say first go into Python, and then I can say inputs and output that. And again, it'll give me by default a data frame, and I can either click up here or I can Control Alt Shift M, and that'll turn it into an Excel output. Okay. What else do I, oh yeah, I guess the other kind of setup thing is the dependencies read left to right across each reading order, basically. So I think it's called row major order, but I think of it as reading order. So in other words, if I define something here, then anything that I would read after that, meaning further to the right in the same row or in any subsequent row, can refer to that definition and it will be understood. But if I type py inputs up here, that will not be understood because I haven't defined it yet. And you see this diagnostics pane pops up saying inputs was not defined. So all good. Clear that out, clear that out. And we'll get rid of this and this. So now we need to start thinking about how we identify uppercase, lowercase. First thing you'd want to check here, again, coming from an Excel background, Excel is very loosey-goosey about types and cases and other things because basically I think because it was designed to be used by non-programmers. So if I say in Excel, is uppercase A equal to lowercase a, it will say true. So the first thing that I checked before I started anything here was I went into Python and I said A equals A. And I got an error on that, cannot assign to a literal. And this time I didn't have to Google because this, when it described an equal as an assignment, that jogged my memory because it's the same syntax in Mathematica, that if you say A equals B, that means you're assigning B to A. If you say A equals A, that means you're checking are the two equal. And then it says false. So in other words, uppercase A is not equal to lowercase a. And just to check that this isn't some syntax thing that I've stuffed up, uppercase A equals uppercase A gives true. Okay, so in other words, this actually makes it simpler than in Excel because in Excel you have to use a special function called exact to compare things to see if they're the same case as each other. So now that I have that idea, I need to go figure out how to do upper, lower, proper in Python. So let's go over to Google, and I'm just literally going to type that in, upper, lower, proper. Oh, you can see I already searched it earlier. So upper, lower, proper Python. So let's just take the first link. So actually is upper is going to be handy here. So upper converts it to uppercase. So I could, what I was assuming I would do once I saw that it was case sensitive was basically the equivalent of in Excel saying upper this thing equals this thing. And that would check, is it uppercase? But actually, if there's an is upper function, then that will kind of save me even a little bit more time. So let's just try this. Let's say today is a beautiful day. Sorry, no, gotta get into Python first. Then today is a beautiful day. Dot is upper. Try that. It says true. Awesome. Then the next thing that I had to figure out was if then else format in Python. If then else Python. So, oh, interesting. This is different than the one I found earlier. I guess there's different ways to do it. So the one I found earlier was something like, hang on, let me come back over to Excel. The one I found earlier was something like the value if true. So here, for example, all caps. If this, else, not all caps for now, will do. So that gives all caps for that one. And the nice thing about it is, even though this is in quotes, which if it were in quotes in an Excel formula, then it would not move the reference down. But I guess the way they've designed it is that it's in quotes, but also still a cell reference that will move down. So this then points down to the next row, and that says not all caps. But here, I guess there's a different syntax, which maybe looks easier. Oh, right. I guess this is the different. Okay. Well, actually, let's see. condition. Okay, so I guess it's weird, but okay. All right, well, here's what we'll do. Let's do it this way, just to mix it up. So I'm going to say if, and let's just move it up to the same row as we're pointing at, if that is upper, then let's just say result equals all caps. And then I think it said elif. Yes, elif. Let's expand this so that we can see what we're doing. Elif. Actually, sorry, let's just define our input first. So we'll call it sentence. Say sentence equals this. If sentence dot is upper, then result is all cap. Elif sentence dot is lower. Res equals all lower case. Else, I'll just say res equals TBD. And then let's try putting res and see what happens. And sorry, I thought I had moved this up, but let's move it up now. Python error, okay. Did not like that. Invalid syntax on line 2. Sentence dot is upper. Am I missing a comma or something? Oh, yes, I'm missing a colon. Okay. So if sentence dot is upper, colon. Sentence dot is lower, colon, else, colon. Try that. Okay, so that says all caps. Still, I really thought I had moved this. Oh, interesting. So it moves it, but it doesn't actually change it. Interesting. So that's something to be aware of. Probably something that'll get fixed, but anyway, something for me to watch out for now. Okay, so I've got my all lowercase working fine. Start case I have to work out. All caps is working fine. Sentence I have to work out all lowercase. Okay. Oh, wait, this one is, oh, sorry, yeah, okay, let's just get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay, so I've got those two cases working fine. So now I need to figure out sentence case and title case. So Python upper, lower, proper case. So this one is upper and lower, but I'm sure there is a proper somewhere. Changing lowercase to uppercase. Nope, 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 nope. All right, let's just go. Python proper case. Lowercase. No. So the trouble with looking for case is, okay, how to convert string to title case. I don't know. That's probably one of these things. String.title. So that can, okay, so this looks like proper case. So let's try that. Let's just see what this looks like. So py tab, py bracket, fine. So let's try this dot title brackets, close brackets. Okay, so yes, that is what I would call proper case. So then I can add my next elif, elif sentence dot title equals sentence. Then give me result equals, what's that one called? That is called not sentence case, not mixed case. Where the heck is it? Start case, thank you. Start case. Else colon res equals still TBD. Can I not have this spaced in as many times? Okay. And then give me a result. So now copy that down, and that gets my start case here, and it gets my start case here. Good. Okay. So then I have only one other to work out, which is any difference between string.capitalize and string.title. That sounds like a useful thread. Oh, yes, maybe capitalize. Yes, capitalize only does the first. Perfect. This is actually going to work out much neater than the way I did it the first time around. Because the first time around I had to, well, actually, I'll show you what I did the first time around in a minute because that's instructive in its own way. But for now, we'll throw in one more elif. Elif sentence dot capitalize equals sentence, then res equals, what's that one called? Sentence case. And then now I've worked out all the other scenarios so that what's left is going to be mixed case. No, oh, we didn't like that. Oh, that's because I put a colon after elif. Okay, try again. You like that a little better. So does this get them all right? It does. Hooray. Okay, so that's good. So let me just show you, because I did not find the capitalize function when I was flailing around before. So let me just show you how I did it instead. Basically my thought was I have to do left and right. So I said Python left, right, mid string. That's exactly what I searched for. And I found this Stack Overflow question, is there an equivalent of mid, left, right? And it taught me about this idea of slices. So here, so let's just try and do it. Let's just try and make, so py, so I'll take this, I'll take, call that test, equals that, then what am I doing? I am saying test, which was it? It's colon 1 should give me the first letter of test. And it does. So then I can say colon 1 dot upper, I think. And that gives me a capital S. And then I need to figure out, so here it said for right, you can say minus the amount and then a colon. So let's go test. And just try it first, say -5 colon dot lower. And that works, but now I need to figure out the length. And this, I had some tripping up on this. I don't know if I was just making typos or something, but anyway, Python string length. There it is. You can see I've done all these searches half an hour ago. But anyway, here we go. Python string length is wrap it in len. I don't know why some functions are like dot lower at the end and some are wrap in len, but I think it is the case that you cannot do this. Somebody smarter than me can probably tell me, but anyway, I cannot do that, but I can do this. No idea why. I think I can do that. Yes, I can do that. So then what I should be able to do is maybe minus the length. And that gives me the whole thing. I want one less than that, so we'll go 1 minus length. Un is shining brightly, cool. And then I think I don't think I even Googled this earlier because I think I knew, but Python string concatenation, I think is a plus. What? That is what? That's weird. Yeah, plus operator. That's what I thought. All right. So then let's just try this. Oops. Where are we going here? And then hopefully that'll, yeah. So that was my kind of workaround way of developing sentence case, which much slower than just dot capitalize, but it did teach me a thing or two about taking slices from text. So then I guess the other thing is I figured out earlier how to turn this into a function. I think I kind of knew this already because I'd seen this in some of, I think maybe some of Owen's videos or maybe Bill's as well. Anyway, define Python function. And here it is, just def function name. This one doesn't have an argument, but I think I do need to put the arguments in here, and then a colon, and then all that other stuff. So let's try this. Def classify of sentence colon, and get rid of all this. And then I think I need to indent this. I think I could probably have said return result sooner, or in all the different places, but this is less change from what I've already written, so that's fine. And then let's see if that's working. Classify of this. And if I copy that down, does that still work? Yes, good. So then the last thing I wanted to kind of map this to all of the arguments so I could just have it as one thing. I found exactly this, and I could not get it to work. I'm just going to try it again now just in case I've done something different without realizing it, but probably not. So, oh, and actually, sorry, one thing I can do is just take all this out of here and just put it up here. And then I'm just going to, oops, sorry, I needed to wrap that in Python. So equals py, because the whole thing of being able to reference previous cells is I don't need to define it over and over again. So I'm just going to hit Control and Enter there, and you see it returns this none type thing. So handy thing is just to say define classify function, just so that there is some output to the grid, and then we'll Control-Alt-Shift-M to turn that into, actually no, I'll leave it like that because then it's easier to see that it is a Python cell. So then I don't need to have this definition in any of these cells. So I can just say classify. And then that makes it a little easier to see that what I really want to do is just map classify to that range. So let's just try, sorry, again, Python, then map. So it's the other way around from Excel. So it's first the function and then the range, or ranges, in this case just one range. This did not work for me last time. Yeah, I got map, and then I tried to convert it into an Excel object, and it was just NA. I spent a bunch of time banging my head against this in the original recording. Couldn't get it to work. I actually spent like 10 minutes on it, said, I'm giving up, gonna stop. And then I came and looked at the comments under this challenge, and the first thing was Bo Ridabon having solved this in Python, and he had a different thing. He used apply instead of map and got it to work, and I was able to steal his syntax, which hopefully I'll be able to steal again now. Let's try. So let's just do it here. So we will start off by getting into Python. Then we'll take this range. I think I needed 0. Let's try without the 0. I did some fluffing around with this earlier. Dot apply classify dot to list. No, you didn't like that. So I think I do need the 0. And that gives me a list, and then Control-Alt-Shift-M. That outputs, boom, all working. And then the actual nicer way that Bo did this was made this A1 to A10 headers equals true. Sorry, not headers, and then you can say dot sentence, dot sentence, dot apply. And so here's the one I tried earlier. It came out a little bit different because I had this different syntax for if. So it was all caps if the sentence is upper, else all lowercase if the sentence is lower, else start case if the sentence is equal to sentence.title. And then I had my own made up version of sentence.capitalize, so it worked out a little better on that one this time. And then same idea, just apply classified.toList. So I need to, hopefully some smart Python person watching this, if they have been able to watch half an hour of me muddling around Python without tearing their hair out, might be able to tell me what I was doing wrong with map, or maybe map is just not supported yet, or maybe I needed to import something to make map work. No idea. I'll try and work that out later, but for now, apply works just fine. I don't know if that'll work if I want to apply it, with multiple columns being multiple arguments in the way that you can with map, but I'll try and figure that out. I was pretty happy with this as a first day. I got something done in like 20 minutes, and then it took me like another 20 minutes to figure out how to map it. And admittedly, I would not have figured that out without seeing Bo's answer. But that's how we learn, by being in the company of smart people. That's all I got for today. I'm as you can probably gather, very psyched about this. I'm going to be looking at this as much as I can get time for, and I will be posting videos as many days as I can for the next month. But I've learned not to make promises about how often I'll update my YouTube channel, because then I just break them. So I'll see what I can do. That's what I got for today. Sorry, last thing to mention, I am going to be posting, because for once I'm working with files that are not private intellectual property. So I'm going to post all the files from all my Python exploration on a drive, and post the link to that so you can steal them, play with them, do whatever you want with them. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.